If you don't trust lawyers, can you represent yourself at trial? Well, the U.S. Supreme Court addressed that in Ferretta versus California. And in Ferretta, they said, yeah, you can represent yourself, but it may not be a good idea. But if you're going to waive your right to counsel, then you need to do so knowingly. So judges have to tell you, look, this is a really bad idea. Now, I've heard some judges use the analogy of representing yourself is like a doctor doing their own surgery. And it's really not, because the doctor would still be a doctor. Representing yourself when you're not an attorney opens up a minefield of problems. Even if you get the law right, you're probably going to mess something up procedurally, which could bar your defense. And I can give you a good example that we see all the time play out in court. And let me back up and say, I'm not talking about for traffic tickets. You're going to have some people get on here and say, well, I represented myself and I won on a traffic ticket. What we're talking about is serious felony cases, because cases where you could go to jail, that's where you need an attorney. But where we see it play out often is people that get up and they start cross-examining the witness, but they're testifying. And the judge has to say, you can't do that. You can't testify. You'll get your turn to talk later, but now's not that time. And then people get frustrated and they start arguing with the judge. And that's typically not a good thing either.